Good afternoon. It's good to be in a room full of main characters. We are going to kick off our next session with a story that tells us what happens when mission, media moments, and smart technology align. Now, you've probably seen them on Shark Tank, or maybe you saw the co-founder on season 3 of HBO's White Lotus. But what you probably haven't seen is the strategy and tactics used by this brand to turn a surge of new traffic into lasting growth. So here with me to help us break it all down is the head of growth from MOSH, Tanner Flitter. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thanks, Miles.
Tanner, welcome to Momentum.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So I know that there's a question that you've been asked a number of times already here at Momentum, and that is about the co-founders of MOSH, Maria Shriver and her son, Patrick Schwarzenegger. Now, on one hand, you have Maria, award-winning journalist, New York Times best-selling author, a member of the prominent Shriver and Kennedy families, former First Lady of California, and founder of the nonprofit organization called the Women's Alzheimer's Movement. So she likes to keep busy.
Yeah.
And then you have Patrick Schwarzenegger, a business investor who's building a promising acting career and recently starred on White Lotus. So I gotta ask right off the top, what's it like having these two high-profile figures as your co-founders?
I mean, it's pretty incredible just to be able to tap into their wealth of knowledge and experience in general. But it is also just so inspiring because they truly are hands-on. They're in the office all the time, you know, when they don't have other projects going on. I always kind of say that Maria's more of kind of like the storyteller, marketing guru, whereas, you know, Patrick is more of like the businessman, but they are both, you know, very hands-on. And even, you know, if Patrick's in Thailand filming for 7 months, you know, he still makes time to jump on a call if need be. So yeah, it's been super inspiring, you know, working with them and building MOSH with them.
Well, I think some of the Rebots in the room might be able to relate, you know, having these high-profile founders. You might have heard of John Irk, James Van Irk. They're kind of a big deal in certain circles. But when your co-founders are Maria and Patrick, and you've got an episode of Shark Tank that's about to air any day now, you know, the stakes for optimizing your online store are quite high. So I think for folks to really appreciate this story, I'd like you to take us back here, Tanner, to November of 2023, and kind of put us in the room behind the walls of MOSH HQ, and share with us some of the initiatives that you and the MOSH team were working through at that time.
Yeah, so November 2023. I mean, recovering from probably Black Friday, Cyber Monday hangover, but also getting ready to essentially launch a rebrand in June. So MOSH is, you know, 3 years old, will be 4 in September. And, you know, we were kind of, again, recovering from Black Friday, Cyber Monday. They had just filmed their episode of Shark Tank. We had no idea when it was going to air. And then also, you know, planning for this rebrand, which included a, you know, total redesign of the packaging, reformulation to get ready for retail in June. So all of these things kind of, you know, colliding, super exciting, you know, but we're a very lean team. You know, we are at 9 full-time employees now. Back then, I think it was probably 7. So really trying to make sure that, you know, the site was optimized for whenever the Shark Tank episode was actually going to air, to capitalize, you know, off that traffic. At the same time, you know, essentially redesigning everything. You know, I was heading up the website, so a lot going on.
So yeah, you're dedicated to this mission. You've got a rebrand coming up. You've got an episode of Shark Tank. You're expecting a ton of traffic. So optimizing your store, very important. Let's back up a bit and learn a little bit more about MOSH, the company. So tell us, what is MOSH all about? What makes them different? Tell us a little bit about the mission, the product, the brand.
Yeah. So after, Maria and Patrick, witnessed a loved one, cognitive decline with Alzheimer's, it was Maria's dad, and to this day, she says that her dad is one of the smartest people that she's ever met. So to witness someone, that intelligent go through this cognitive decline, was heartbreaking, but also, she kind of persevered with the inspiration of creating MOSH. And more just general awareness about brain health and cognitive health. MOSH, right now our main focus is protein bars. And it has up to 13 grams of protein, over 6 brain nutrients, including cognizin. We're actually one of the first food brands with cognizin in it. And then a bunch of other great things like vitamins B12, omega-3s, lion's mane, ashwagandha. And the best part is, that it is mission driven. So, together with every customer purchase, we donate a percentage of proceeds to the Women's Alzheimer's Movement. And to date, we've raised over $250,000 for the Women's Alzheimer's Movement in Cleveland Clinic, which is incredible. And we've also, super great. And then also, we've been able to fund a couple of grants as well, dedicated to brain health and brain health research.
That is so admirable. I will say that I did listen to Maria's interview in March on a podcast called Rich Roll Podcast. If you haven't checked it out, do so. It's a 2-hour interview. She breaks down all of her experiences. It's really interesting. So you've got some things happening. Let's focus on the store itself. So tell us, regarding the store, what were some of the biggest challenges that you were trying to solve when it came to actual online store?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it was really accelerating growth, but responsibly. I think it is just a different kind of day and age right now, and really being kind of, showing sustainable growth. And with us, really kind of only having protein bars at the moment, there's only so much you can do with AOV and upsells. So really kind of focusing on, the customer journey, new customer offer, and then also a huge, kind of focus for D2C in particular is subscription and retention.
Okay, so you've got some real big opportunities coming. The challenges you're trying to solve with the online store. How did you get hooked up with Rebuy?
The conversation really kind of started with our current web dev agency, Varfy, shout out to them. And we were really kind of focused essentially on Smart Cart, and trying to kind of, build a Smart Cart ourselves. Keep in mind, in the background, we're redesigning the website. It's new branding, new packaging, all of that stuff. And they actually came to the table with Rebuy. It was kind of the Smart Cart initially that grabbed my attention. Then seeing all the other widgets and features, it was a pretty easy sell.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good partner, Varfy, working with you, understanding your challenges, recommending the best option based on what you're looking for. So let's dive into some of these tactics here. Now, on the screen here, you see this is, MOSH didn't just drop a widget on their store and call it good. I mean, you guys are really kind of getting the full Rebuy experience here, so you can kind of take a look at some of the things that MOSH has used, the Smart Cart. They've got in-cart cross-sells, subscription upsells. I mean, you guys are doing mystery gifts, smart links, gift with purchase, really kind of embracing what's possible. And want to shout out the Rebuy launch team. I know that they helped you kind of get started, kick-started some of this, got your first couple widgets locked and loaded. So tell us a little bit about working with the launch team and just onboarding with Rebuy in general.
Yeah, I mean, that was, again, being a lean team, and I'm sure everyone here can relate. You kind of get sold by, the A team, and then, as you sign, you're kind of handed over to the C team. So I'm always apprehensive in terms of, hearing things that are too good to be true. But again, being a lean team, I have Varfy, but really wanted to use their dev hours towards, the site redesign and CRO initiatives as well. So, the onboarding process was just so surprising in the best way. It really felt like a true partner. And that's what I always, look for, whether it's an agency, platform, software, because we're all working together to achieve the same goal. So I always want it to feel like a partnership, and truly a big shout out to the Rebuy launch team, because it felt so seamless, and it is still to this day is one of the most seamless onboarding kind of experiences that I've had. Because that's the other thing too, is if you have the team, a lot of times they'll just kind of direct you to resource articles, and you kind of have to learn yourself. Which I'm not against, but with so many different things going on, there's only so much bandwidth when it comes to kind of self-education. So they were terrific.
And support is so important. Oftentimes that's the differentiator. I liked what you said when we chatted on the case study. You can read the MOSH case study on the Rebuy site. But you said your goal is to minimize redundancy while maximizing efficiency with a single versatile solution. And it sounds like Varify was able to help you out, and you got what you were looking for there. Let's take a deeper look at some of the actual widgets in action on the MOSH site. So first up, let's take a quick look at Smart Cart. Tell us how Rebuy Smart Cart has helped your growth strategy at MOSH.
Yeah, so we started with the Smart Cart, and that was huge just in terms of, the biggest thing is probably subscription upsell, because we have one-time and subscription. Again, D2C is still kind of the biggest part of our business. We're also on Amazon and TikTok Shop, and like I mentioned, launched into retail last summer, but D2C is still a huge focus. And, as kind of an early age startup, subscriptions and being able to lean into recurring revenue is so important for a young growing brand. So being able to have kind of those points throughout the customer journey with the subscription pop-up, whether it's the pop-up that you see or within the Smart Cart, and then secondarily with kind of AOV and just with the AI recommendations and taking the think work out of it.
Right.
In terms of people who buy this flavor also buy this flavor, has been huge for us, especially we launched our first LTO in Q4 last year, limited time flavor. So again, with the Smart Cart, it was just huge to be able to, have just an additional point of visibility, whether it's a new product or, a product that people frequently purchase together.
Right. And I know that you guys are rocking a couple Rebuy integrations, one with Okendo, one with Klaviyo, which we'll talk about here in a few. But the cart, you've got the progress bar, it's clean, it's on brand. You've got the subscription upsells. You have the star ratings with Okendo. So it's doing, you're putting it to work.
Yeah.
It's working for you.
Absolutely. Social proof too, with Okendo and that integration is just, it's so easy, but makes such a difference. Whether it's Smart Cart, I think we also have it in the actual checkout as well with kind of review highlights. Again, just offering that social proof to kind of help customers through that journey.
100%. All roads to checkout go through the shopping cart. So you want to have a nice, streamlined, optimized shopping cart experience. Let's take a look at what's next. So here we have a post-purchase offer and an add to cart pop-up. And again, Tanner, tell us a little bit about how MOSH is using these and kind of the impact that they've had.
The add to cart pop-up. So essentially when someone adds a one-time product to their cart, they get that pop-up, just kind of highlighting the benefits of, switching them over to subscription, building, that healthy routine with MOSH and kind of highlighting the key benefits of a subscription has been huge for us in terms of new subscriber growth and continues to be kind of a very important tool in our tool belt to grow, monthly active subscribers. And then the post-purchase offer, that is something that I think everyone should have. We only offer, protein bars, but it has made a world's difference in terms of AOV in particular, but also, trial. Again, if someone's kind of apprehensive, maybe it's a good opportunity for the, post-purchase offer. Just one more try to get them at a higher discount. And then with the Rebuy Smart Links has also been huge for us, specifically with email. So the Klaviyo integration is incredible. Essentially, I mean, it takes out a couple of clicks throughout the customer journey. So these are, existing customers or, prospects that we're trying to convert with very kind of like specific offers. The first one you can see is essentially a BOGO. And all you have to do is click a button, takes you to checkout, gives you the discount, one more click and you're done. And then the other one is kind of highlighting a gift with purchase widget that we use. Again, it's, don't have to kind of tap our dev agency on the shoulder. I can do it myself or anyone else on the team and kind of integrate that within email and SMS.
One note on the post-purchase, how often do you have 100% of your customers' attention? Almost never. But at post-purchase, they're buying, they're totally engaged, they're spending money on your shop. You have 100% of their attention. So what an opportunity to surface another related offer, something that they're gonna be interested in. And with the discount too, it's doing some work for MOSH and helping MOSH achieve that mission. And personally, I think pop-ups get a bad rap. I mean, if their conversion rate is, it really helps generate some extra revenue for the shop. So use sparingly. I think it's a great tactic. Post-purchase is one of my favorite kind of tactics there. Okay, so let's move on to this here, which I consider to be like the money slide. So this graph tells a powerful story. Can you walk us through, Tanner, what we're seeing here in terms of the subscription revenue and the pink line there, which is renewals, subscription renewals? Yeah.
So, I think in preparation for Shark Tank, I mean, we beat every scenario to death. Because again, it's essentially like a free national commercial. And so we wanted to really make the most of it and not just kind of capitalize off a blip, of traffic or, purchases. We wanted, sticky customers. So it was, looking through the website, the customer journey, making it, as seamless as possible, debating new customer offers, et cetera. And so this graph is super exciting to see. I remember, with Shark Tank, we filmed in November, got a 2 weeks heads up, before the episode was going to air. So we'd done all kind of the work before, but of course it was a month before the rebrand launch in June. So it was a crazy time, but we were prepared, and I think that this graph shows that. You see this tidal wave of traffic in terms of new customer acquisition, and then you kind of see the sustained retention, throughout those 12 plus months throughout. So, with the help of Rebuy, and really kind of, again, making a enjoyable, seamless customer experience, that really kind of helped us with retaining those subscribers throughout.
So quick story, in March at Shop Talk, I was talking to a gal, and her brand also appeared on Shark Tank, but they didn't have anything to kind of convert that traffic. And she said that the traffic arrived on the shop, and shortly thereafter, traffic dropped and those customers didn't return. But what I love about what you've done here with MOSH is that you can probably barely see here, but in March, Rebuy was installed. A couple months later, on the spike there, that was when the episode aired. So what you did was you built that like retention infrastructure before it aired. So as all those folks, those Shark Tank viewers came, hit the site, you had this kind of merchandising infrastructure to introduce those customers, introduce the subscription offers, and convert a lot of them into those long-term subscribers and retain them over the long term, as you can see on this slide. So it just kind of tells you like the power of, what's that phrase about proper planning? You're doing the planning, you're putting in the work ahead of time so that when you get that traffic, you can retain them.
Yeah, and it's so important. I mean, I truly got annoyed of it because of how much planning we did, but obviously it was worth it. And I think that even with like the new customer offer, there was a debate between, we have a 6 count, which is lower price point, and then a 15 count variety pack, which is, higher price point, but it's also a subscription product. So it was, that kind of debate of like, well, do we want to try to get as many convert as many customers as possible versus 15 count? And we ultimately went with the 15 count, and that again tied to quality customers, but also the fact that it is a subscription product, and kind of again that strategy in mind of being able to follow up with them and get them onto a subscription if they didn't start with it.
100%. And that green line there, the revenue, you can see it's paying dividends. Like 8 months later, your revenue is almost the same as it was during Shark Tank month.
Yeah.
So that's just like such a powerful graph, a powerful illustration there. So tell me a little bit about when you started to see AOV, after onboarding, say March, April, May of 2024. You told me the story in our initial interview, and I just loved it because it's just so funny and it's so kind of like practical and just one of those interesting moments. Tell me about what happened when you started to see AOV climb for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was very excited, but I think, it was after kind of 30 days of implementing some of like, the initial widgets with Rebuy, the Smart Cart, the post-purchase offer. I get a Slack from our head of finance, shout out to Dan in Colorado, but he had Slacked me and he was skeptical. He was like, hey, I've seen, AOV increase, I think it was 16, 19%. He was like, what magic did you drum up? Like, is this real? And at first I was nervous because I was like, oh, like is something broken? Like what's going on? But sure enough, within a couple of minutes, I was like, oh, like it's Rebuy, specifically our post-purchase offer. So I mean, he was just thrilled, and I felt like a champion, and it was pretty funny.
You're on the hero's journey here.
Right.
I love it. All right, let's take a look at some of the outcomes here. So just overall, you've got like the full Rebuy experience powering your site. You've got some smart merchandising. You're personalizing the shopping experience. Tell us a little bit more about like the outcomes that you've seen at MOSH as a result.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the outcomes that you see here, I mean, Q1 of this year marked, our first ever quarter with 3 consecutive months exceeding $1 million in revenue. So again, it's like with that graph, it's consistent growth there. And D2C is really, I mean, we have growth initiatives, but again, our North Star, I always say, with D2C this year is retention, and really focusing on that subscriber growth. So that's been, super exciting. And again, driven by strategic, kind of initiatives and investments with the help of Rebuy and kind of other strategy implemented. And then, AOV is, continues to kind of be a great thing for us, both with new customers and returning. In Q1, we launched our second LTO, raspberry white chocolate. And so that, has helped with AOV, but again, having kind of, whether it's kind of the dynamic bundling with Rebuy on like the PDP, the recommendations in the Smart Cart or the post-purchase offer, again, it's just increased, visibility that essentially I can turn on without, again, tapping into Varify, our web dev agency, to really make sure that, they're staying focused, on kind of like the big projects and priorities. So yeah, it's been great.
That's fantastic. And just one detail to punctuate this story here. I checked April's numbers, and AOV has actually increased another 3%. So definitely head of growth doing his job here. So fantastic job. And so if you were to give some tips to some other, small businesses, mid-market companies that are looking to grow their AOV, drive more subscriptions for their brand, what would those tips be?
The first two kind of go together, but I mean, the first one is, streamline your subscription flow. I think one great thing about Maria is that she's obviously not afraid to ask questions, but she's always wanting to learn. Anytime I use an acronym like AOV, CAC, she's asking what it is. Now she can, she knows what they are. And I always use the analogy of like the leaky bucket, right? So really kind of focusing on making sure that all of the holes, in your bucket are patched up before bringing, new subscribers into the mix. So making sure that, your subscription flow is tightened up, and really, thinking through, with protein bars, for example, especially focus on brain health, it's kind of a unique white space, and you don't really think about your brain health every day. Or it's not like the gym, where after 3 months you can physically, see results per se. But it's something that everyone can kind of get started on now, or, encourage your parents or grandparents to kind of get enrolled with. So making sure, that you do the A/B testing, optimize for mobile, and really kind of clearly, give people a reason why they should sign up for a subscription outside of, 20% off and free shipping, and really kind of build that routine or add to the routine that they've already kind of created. And then the second one is really kind of, focusing on retention through value-driven engagement. I always ask people, when's the last time a brand provided you with value at no cost? It wasn't transactional. How did it make you feel? It's, these days especially, it's surprising. You're like, oh wow, and it sticks with you. So being able to, outside of just providing product or trying to convert, really kind of think through, again, with subscription or, just people that continue to come back to you, what, high value, quality content can you offer them to keep them, coming back? And then, off of that, think through, milestones. If someone makes it to order number 2, order number 3, is there, a percent back you can give them, a credit to use? Think of, loyalty, referral, and then even, surprise and delight opportunities. I think it's something that, easily kind of falls at the wayside, but it is very important to always, kind of think of the customer and try to stand up for the customer as well.
Growing a business is not easy. So I just love how you are exploring different ways to do that and just serve the customer. It's super fantastic. Now, we do have a little surprise here coming up. Why don't you tee this up for us here, Tanner?
Yeah. Well, honestly, Miles, I became such a fan of your This or That content series, especially during Shop Talk. So I had to show Patrick, and we had to get in on it.
Awesome. And now I know Patrick couldn't make it because I think he was at the Met Gala?
He was. Okay. I think he's with his fiance doing something with Tommy Hilfiger, being a model. I'm not sure. But
Met Gala, momentum, kind of a toss-up, really. So let's go ahead and share this little treat here from Patrick for the good people of Momentum.
Hi, I'm Patrick Schwarzenegger. I'm the co-founder of MOSH.
Quality or convenience?
Come on, that's so hard. Quality.
Online shopping or in-store experience?
In-store experiences. I don't get how my fiance does all this online shopping, and then she gets it, and then she returns it, and then she gets it, and she returns. I can't do that.
Subscription or one-time purchase?
Ooh, subscription.
Instant gratification or delayed gratification?
Delayed, if it outweighs the instant.
Protein bar or protein shake?
Why not a little protein bar in the protein shake?
Blueberry almond or peanut butter chocolate?
Peanut butter chocolate.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Window seat or aisle seat?
Aisle seat.
Weights or cardio?
Weights.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
New Music Friday or Throwback Thursday?
Throwback Thursday.
White Lotus Season 2 or Season 3?
Come on. Season 3.
Guys, let's give Tanner a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Tanner.
Thank you, guys.
Fantastic.